Reportando las noticias, how bilingual students at Montclair State University are changing the face of news. Up next on Carpe Diem. Hello and welcome to Carpe Diem. I'm Carina Garcia. As news producer, reporter, and someone lucky enough to call Montclair State my alma mater, I am happy to be back on campus to share with you the latest work of our media students. Latino students at Montclair State University wanted a class that would help them tell the stories that were important to them and to their community. This class is shaping a new wave of reporters with a bicultural and bilingual perspective. To talk about how this groundbreaking class came about and why I'm here is my colleague and co-professor Thomas Franklin, assistant professor in the School of Communication and Media here at Montclair State, and student Chanila Germán, who got the wheels turning. Thank you guys so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
So, how did this come about? Talk to us all about that, Professor.
Well, there were a couple of factors. We had taken a group of students on a reporting trip to Puerto Rico, which was immensely successful. We won as a result of that trip, we had won a College Emmy Award, but it was a really wonderful, rich experience, and the students did great reporting there. And at the same time, we had a number of students, Chanila was one of them, who came to me and said, you know, a bilingual class would be a really good addition to our curriculum. I love the idea. I took Chanila and Lucia, who was the other student, to see Dr. Strudler and Dr. Messiano. They loved the idea. They brought in Dr. Goldfarb with the Hispanic initiative on campus, and we decided we would put this class together. And then I did a search for a co-instructor, which is when I discovered you, and much to my delight, you've been a great addition to our faculty.
Thank you so much. Well, we come from different worlds. I come from television and you come from print and different platforms in media. So it's been very cool to see how we've kind of been able to work together, and the students that are at different levels and even from different majors.
It's been fantastic. We have a really great group of students who have really embraced what it is we're trying to teach them. They've been really excited about this platform that they've been able to express themselves in. And it's really been wonderful in so many regards, and I think the class is something we're going to try and build off of in the future. Absolutely.
Well, Chanila is with us now, and she's also part of the class, and she got everything going. How did this come to be? Talk to us a little bit about how that happened, and how do you feel in the class now that you've seen it come to fruition?
Well, right now I feel amazing that the class is actually something that we were able to achieve. A little bit like Professor Franklin said, this class started because my friend Lucia and I were talking one day, and we were like, wow, there's so many great classes here at Montclair State, but there's no bilingual class. There's not a class for both Spanish-speaking and English-speaking students. And for us, that was just like an eye-opening. Why wasn't there a class like that? And we brought it up to Professor Franklin. We brought it to his attention. He took it to heart and was like, well, yeah, we should do something about it. And I believe in a span of 30 minutes, we went to Dr. Strudler and we explained to him the situation. And he heard us and we did something about it. And now we're here.
And now we're here. And we've seen so many awesome stories come out of the class, like really different perspectives and different points of view. And I think that, like we spoke about in class, Professor, I think the students also, and maybe Chanila, you could talk a little bit about that too, like they feel like it's a place that there's some camaraderie, there's something going on, like something is bubbling here, right? Would you agree?
This class is much more than just reporting. We have touched up on this in our class, actually. We feel like it's a community. It's a place that we can go. It's our safe haven. We're not just learning about how to be an amazing journalist, because we do learn that, but it's more. It's how to create a community with people that understand your experiences and who respect you, and people that you can grow from. And I think that this is the class that has allowed me to at least learn all of that and much more.
Well, I'm really eager to see how our students' work has come to light, how they were able to. And we had students, Professor, that had never touched a camera before.
Yeah, we had students from various backgrounds in different areas of the program come together, and the stories have been really interesting. It's been very eye-opening for me to hear students talk about this shared experience, and it really was special that we were able to create this platform for them to express themselves.
Yeah, I don't think that we thought that it was going to be as like community as it's become. Would you agree?
Yeah, and we have students, some of whom are really quite proficient in Spanish, and others who, you know, were raised in a household where they spoke it but never really studied it.
Sure.
And so the class has a lot of flexibility, and we wanted to make it as accessible as possible for all students.
Absolutely. Well, we have a great group of students, we really do, and we're so eager to see their work. So we're seeing them shed this new light on the Latino experience. Christian Inga has a story that really has made us all think about diversity in our newsroom. Let's take a look.
I'm in Montclair State University, where many students are preparing themselves to be the next wave of professionals in the news industry. Among these students are many Latinos who are looking to break into an industry that hasn't been very welcoming. There are over 58 million Latinos living in the United States today, the largest growing demographic in the country. Yet, our newsrooms do not reflect this. According to a Pew Research Center analysis in 2016, 77% of newsroom employees are non-Hispanic whites. The same analysis found that non-Hispanic whites account for 74% of newsroom employees under the age of 50, and the number is even greater for those 50 and older. Despite the United States often being referred to as a melting pot, the statistics indicate otherwise. Longtime newsman Hugo Balta, a former Telemundo news director and current MSNBC senior producer, says it's a problem.
There aren't more Latinos in newsrooms today than they were 35 years ago. And that's a problem.
Balta says that bilingual journalists are an important asset to any newsroom.
So to have journalists that can speak to the community and be able to news gather and be able to produce stories that are authentic is key to any newsroom being relevant to the community that they serve.
This spring semester, Montclair State School of Communication and Media debuted a bilingual journalism class, Reportando las Noticias.
I think having this class is super important because you have classes that teach you about writing and reporting and all of these production classes, but they're just in English. They don't talk about topics that happen in Latino cultures or the things that affect Latino audiences.
Mark Efron, a former news executive at WPIX, and now a professor at Montclair School of Communication and Media, says that the Latino representation in newsrooms is nowhere near where it should be.
I don't think they're anywhere near representative of the population.
Although the Latino representation in American newsrooms has been an ongoing problem, Balta is optimistic things will change.
We are a young community. Latinos are among the youngest demographic in the United States. And over time, we will be the majority, and over time, we will have positions of influence and power.
Latinos who have been able to break into the industry are hopeful that soon more newsrooms will reflect the true picture of today's America. From Montclair State University, this is Christian Inga reporting.
Really great story that Christian shared with all of us. It really opened our eyes to a lot of stuff that was going on. You've had a different experience with recruiters and things coming into the university, right, Professor?
Yeah, I was happy to see Christian do that piece because it very much supports what we were hearing from recruiters. We had recruiters from major news organizations come to campus and say that this is something that they want, that this is in demand. Students that can report in both languages, particularly Spanish, and bilingual skills are really important.
Right. So now we're opening it all up. There's a bunch of students that are going to be ready to feed that demand. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Let's take a look at Genesis' story, which is also very interesting. Genesis Obando took a page out of her own family's book in order to find out why it's so hard for Latinos to assimilate to American life. Here she is. Story.
Many Americans want to know why some Latino immigrants do not assimilate. There are many factors that make this process difficult, and there are also many prejudices.
In May of 2018, lawyer Aaron Schlossberg was filmed in a Fresh Kitchen restaurant in New York City on a rant. He was bothered by the fact that customers and employees were speaking Spanish. The process of assimilation for Latinos is complicated.
many factors like discrimination, living in Latino-only communities, or working long days in underpaying jobs leaves less time for immigrants to learn and actively participate in American culture. Vicenta Obando immigrated from Nicaragua in 1992 when she was 21 years old. She's currently a stay-at-home mother of 4 in Kenilworth, New Jersey.
Para mí es la persona más indicada que la mamá, que los tengo que cuidar yo. O sea, que ellos se preocupen más en sus estudios, en que ellos se superen y después estoy yo.
Obando says that she has always prioritized her family's well-being over her own education and learning how to be more involved in American culture. Dr. Roger Zapata from Montclair State University says there are some common reasons why some Latinos struggle with assimilation.
Well, in general, the thing that is more difficult for any immigrant is to be able to communicate and to learn the language.
On the other hand, many immigrants moved to the United States at a young age. They were able to learn English quickly and participate in American culture. Therefore, assimilation was easier for them. Carlos Vega is from Newark, New Jersey. He was about 4 years old when he moved from Mexico to the United States.
I've taken everything, but I'm also very deep with my roots, and I love my culture, but I also respect American culture.
There are many different sides to the assimilation process for Latino immigrants, as we have seen. They are involved in more than just one culture and continue to struggle finding a balance or fitting in. This is Montclair State student Genesis Obando reporting.
Well, that was a really awesome story when we saw Genesis and talk about it in class when she was pitching the idea. I am with Victoria Garcia and Emily Alba, students also in Reportando. You guys are bringing great stories to us as well. Victoria, we are going to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to our heart because we're both Cuban American. Not all the roads to immigration are created equal.
Exactly.
So talk to us a little bit about how that idea came to light for your story.
Well, I was really reflecting on my family's own immigration story, and I was also listening to my classmates, their personal stories regarding that, and I think talking about Cuban immigration in comparison to the immigration we see today, I think it's a touchy subject. I think it makes certain Cuban Americans uncomfortable. You know, nobody likes to be called out, not necessarily called out, but no one likes to hear the ugly truth, you know? And I think I had fun making this package because I feel like it brings to light the topic that I really wanted to put out there. And yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Absolutely, and we're super proud of you too. So let's take a look at Victoria's story. Here it is.
Despite growing tensions with a new presidential administration, one specific group hasn't had to face the blunt force of immigration struggles other migrant groups have endured. Cuban Americans are outsiders looking in at an issue ravaging the rest of Latin America. Wide-scale immigration from Cuba began during the Cuban Revolution in 1959. The 1966 Cuban Adjustment Act allowed Cuban defectors to become lawfully permanent residents within the United States following 1 year of being on U.S. territory. The mass immigration that ensued due to this act has been seen as giving preference to the one specific group. Many Cuban American millennials are more liberal and left-leaning in their political ideologies than their parents ever could be, such as Alex Valdez.
I think it needs to get back to where it was. I think the current administration's policies on immigration are way too strict and very racist. I know a lot of people might not agree with that, but there's a lot of prejudice and racism and us versus them rhetoric going on, and I think it's become a problem.
This divided politics, fueled by a generation gap, has established stark opinions in how the U.S. should handle immigration issues today. Mike Reyes, a Cuban-born immigrant who arrived in Miami, Florida at the age of 2 in 1967, holds a similar opinion to current immigration issues as the older Cuban-American generation.
Oh, unfortunately, there's so many programs that the people that come here, they take advantage of it, and it seems like they really do not want to really work for anything. They feel that they're entitled to things.
The difference in opinion between the young and the old will continue to clash, but the special kind of privilege Cuban immigrants have had is difficult to compare to the trials and tribulations faced by the rest of Latin America.
Very interesting perspective. And I may add that this was shot during spring break on your phone.
Yes. All on an iPhone.
That's unbelievable. When we saw the picture quality, we were like, that was all on your phone? So that's amazing. See, it could really be done on spring break, on vacation.
Yes, thank you.
So now let's talk to Emily a little bit about how did you find this story, how this one little hashtag is changing all the stereotypes people could have about Latina women. Talk to us about how you found the story.
So my advisor, she knows the co-founder of the movement, and she was like, listen, there's this woman who is impacting the Latino community right now at big. She's changing something that was negative into something positive, which I think is so inspirational to young Latinas.
Absolutely. Let's take a look.
Ana Feliciano is ending Latina stereotypes by showcasing content that inspires other Latinas on social media.
By showcasing Latinas pursuing their dreams, pursuing their passions, and doing significant things in the community and our culture that younger girls like I was could see like, oh yeah, I can do that too. It's not just, you know, the people that I see on TV or the people that I see in the media. So I feel like social media could be used for good in that way. At least that's our goal. And we get so many DMs from Latinas across the country. Every time I do the orders for the shirts, I get so excited because I ship shirts to like Utah and Seattle and all tons of places in California and just across the country. And I'm like, I'm in New Jersey. I'm in this little town, and you know, this movement is really kind of like spanning the country. And people DM us and they're like, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for showing that we are so much more than, you know, what they show in the media.
Even though the movement is changing Latina stereotypes, it is creating controversy.
If you go into a search engine and you put Latina M-A-D-E and it changes it to M-A-I-D, the search results are pornography, showing Latina women as subservient, and just showing us in a bad light. If you put any other ethnicity, if you put Chinese made, Indian made, it doesn't happen. So it's a little bit insulting to see that we are the only culture that is downgraded towards that.
Not only has the movement changed Feliciano's life, but also Gabriela Castro, who has been inspired by the many women she has met as an intern at Latina Made, Not Made.
Now when you type it in, our company comes up.
I believe it was this past semester, we had this event in New York. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I know it was a panel of women, and they were just speaking about like what it was to be like Latina bosses basically, but to have their own life. And a lot of the things that they said stuck out to me because as a college student and just being Latina and about to go into the workplace, like it's a scary thing. You don't know like little things that you gotta learn. Like you're just kind of thrown in there, you gotta learn everything. So these women, like they talked about how like they got to where they got to and how there were so many people who told them, oh no, you can't do that, or you want to work from this time to this time and have time off, like that's impossible for you to do, like who do you think you are? And they talked about how they did that.
I really love that story. I thought it was amazing. Thank you so much for bringing it to us and letting us know how this little hashtag is changing lives. So ladies, tell me how you feel in this class. Like, is it what you expected when you signed up?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I think the element of surprise is really what reinforced my love for it. I've never felt so united with my classmates. I never felt so at home, just in a classroom setting.
There's a connection between us. Like we've become like lifelong friends thanks to this class.
Oh, that's really nice to know, and I'm glad that you guys could feel comfortable enough sharing your perspective and sharing your views. And talking about perspectives, let's talk and see Ms. Shayla Baez's story. She brought us a story that helped us understand the struggles that Latino transgender individuals face. Those struggles are unique and they come with cultural challenges and biases. Let's take a look.
In the Latin culture, still in 2019, the LGBTQ community is being discriminated against, to the point that some families are being torn apart. Me, Ciano Urdarte.
New Jersey has passed a law that will require LGBTQ history to be taught in schools in 2020. But for Ciano Urdarte, being accepted into her own family has been the bigger fight. Before Urdarte came out as transgender to her family, she came out as gay, as it was more socially accepted, or so she thought.
I came out to my dad in 2011, And throughout those 4 years of me being in high school, him and I were just clashing. And for every reason, he found that because of me identifying as gay, that was the reason why me and him kept clashing.
Y mi esposo nos involucró o nos llevó a un psicólogo y para orientarnos, porque él no quería aceptar de que era gay. La psicóloga dijo que eso era algo que él lo traía por dentro, que eso no era de que para cambiarlo.
Some Latin Americans feel that being part of the LGBTQ community is a sin and is a feeling that should not be pursued. Robert de Asa, a preacher in the Dominican Republic, shares this view.
Tanto en el Antiguo Testamento, el Antiguo Pacto que va desde Génesis hasta Malaquías, tú te encuentras las diferentes circunstancias en donde Dios les revela a su pueblo a través de la palabra la prohibición de este tipo de prácticas.
Mami, stop, you're gonna make me cry. Tú eres una inspiración como yo también, y tú eres mi inspiración.
Urtate's mom believes that sticking by your child's side is the best thing you can do. However, her father disagrees.
Last time I spoke to him was when he told me to kill myself, was in September of 2018.
Si yo que soy su mamá o nosotros que somos su familia no lo apoyamos, ¿quién lo va a apoyar?
Sienna Urtate now has the support of her mom and hopes that her baby niece will be raised in a state that continues to work towards the acceptance of the LGBTQ community and will continue to speak up within her own Latin community. We will have to wait until 2020 to see what effects incorporating LGBTQ history will have in schools.
From the LGBTQ Center at Montclair State University, Shayla Baez reporting.
That was a really powerful story. Now joining me are 3 students in our Reportando class, Diana Ortiz, Teresa Gomez, and Carly Enriquez. Le dije los nombres en español. Everybody's name is in Spanish.
That's great. That's
so, ladies, tell me how you feel about this class. Was it what you were expecting when you walked in? Let's start with Diana.
I think it's a great opportunity not to just be open to one type of audience, but also the Latino community, which I think is important because it's based on our culture. Mm-hmm. And being able to report not only in English, but also in Spanish is something that I want to carry on with.
Absolutely. Teresa?
One aspect that I loved is that we got to focus on reading Spanish news and understanding it. And that's something that I never really focused on. I always read English news, and I like focusing on that.
Absolutely. Carly?
It truly wasn't what I expected coming in here. Like, I love how we actually get down to it, to like the problems in the Latin community. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the media, it always gets overlooked. So through our reporting and our journalism, like, we're able to key in on those topics, on those sensitive topics.
And all of you ladies are different majors, different years in your academic careers, but there's something that really united everybody in the class. Would you agree? Diana, I'll ask you.
I do agree. I believe that although we're all from different Hispanic countries, we are able to come to a common ground and have the same experience so we can share that with each other and say, hey, I'm not the only one.
Right. And you're a Spanish major.
I am. Wow. I am a Spanish major.
Did we bring you over to the broadcasting? Did we bring you over to the other side yet?
You guys got me with it. I mean, I think that I want to continue with it, and I do want to see my heritage, my culture being out there in the reporting world.
Absolutely. How about you ladies?
For me, I enjoyed that even though we all had different majors and from different backgrounds, we all were able to use that and utilize that in such a positive way.
How about you, Carly?
To add to that, like, truly, I was able to, like, it doesn't even matter what concentration you came from, like, just being united because of our heritage and our roots, we're able to, like, express that through our work, through our reporting, and I'm really orgullosa for that.
Muy bien. Do you find that we're creating a space that you could pitch these stories and pitch these ideas, and there's
Definitely.
Okay, I get it. Everybody in the class kind of gets it.
Definitely. Like, we're so accepted by the professors. You guys really just say, like, you could pick whatever topic that interests you in the Latin community, or even whatever, you know. With Shayla, I was working on her package. We did, we mixed two different communities, the LGBTQ community and the Latin community, and I think that it goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, being Latino, we sometimes we're pigeonholed in like, well, let's just talk about immigration, or let's just talk about Mark Anthony and salsa and like, you know, and Sofia Vergara and all this stuff. And I think that this opportunity, I think that was part of our idea. Like, let's open, you know, our minds to the idea of other stories from the Latino community. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think that it allows us to expand our horizons, if I may say, in an aspect that we're able to pick any story, like she was saying, and being able to grow from it and learn from it, and not only redoing it, retaking it, but learning the professional way of doing it once we enter the real world.
Absolutely. And Teresa, you love dance, and you were able to bring that to the class, and we saw all these different aspects of dance, like within the Latino community. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that we also have a classical side. We're not just about salsa and bachata and merengue. That we have such a deep, rich history. Not because ballet, because I did my feature story on the Cuban methodology, which is a form of ballet. And I learned that it's not just the Russians and the French, that Latinos can do it too. And Latinx people can do it too.
Awesome. Well, thank you ladies so much. I can't wait to continue to see all these stories that are coming. I hope you guys already have a pen and paper and are already thinking of all the other stories that you could do. We don't need cameras. You guys could use your phones. So next class, I hope you guys all have stories lined up that we're gonna absolutely do.
Definitely.
So now that you know that, we just wanna thank you guys for being with us, for being part of this idea. And I hope that we've been able to give you everything that you expected as part of this class. Would you agree?
Yes, completely.
Yes.
Even more than what we thought.
Yes. More than we could imagine.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. Well, thank everybody for joining me. It's been a pleasure helping you bring to the many stories that our Latino students right here at MSU have been so eager to share. If you'd like more information about this or any other Carpe Diem, you could write us at the email address on screen, carpediem@mail.montclair.edu, or call us at 973-655-5158. Para Carpe Diem, les habló Carina Garcia. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Nos vemos pronto.